Peggy 16.
That time was lost, yet time continued onwards. Sleep in peace, Divina True. I will stand guard over your legacy. In this realm, beyond time, my life begins anew.
But let's give a little bit of a background to Fabula Nova Crystallis, the Final Fantasy XIII mythology. I am getting most of this information directly from the Final Fantasy Wikia, so all of you can probably find similar information on your own, but I decided to put it into one nice little video for just about everyone to be able to use. So, mythology. The universe of Fabula Nova Crystallis, which is basically the mythology of Final Fantasy XIII, the universe is divided in two, the visible world and the invisible world, the world of the living and the world of the dead. In the beginning, a single god called Bunaberze defeated his mother, the goddess Muin, to take control of the world for himself, and the defeated Muin disappeared into the invisible world. Becoming the sole ruler of the world did not satisfy Bunaberze, who was certain all of the world was destined to die due to a curse laid on it by his mother. In order to stop this, Bunaberze knew that he had to destroy her, but because Muin had gone to the invisible world, she could no longer be reached. In order to find the door to the invisible world, Bunaberze created the first three fal'Cie. The very first of all the fal'Cie was the fal'Cie Pulse. The duty that Bunaberze laid upon him was to open the world and search for the door to Muin. Next he created the fal'Cie Etro, but unknowingly he created her exactly in the image of Muin. Therefore Bunaberze feared Etro and gave her no power of her own. Instead he created a third fal'Cie, Lindsay, and laid upon him the duty to protect Bunaberze from all who might seek to destroy him. Bunaberze also gave Lindsay one special duty, to wake him once the time would come. Bunaberze then turned into crystal, falling into an endless sleep. So there was one god in the beginning, Bunaberze, who created three fal'Cie, Pulse, Etro, and Lindsay. Pulse is what is known as the Maker. Pulse wished to expand the world and created many fal'Cie in the sea. Lindsay wished to protect the world, and so he also created many fal'Cie in the sea. Etro alone was powerless and could create nothing of her own. Thus, Etro tore at her body, letting her blood flow to the earth, and disappeared from the visible world. From her blood sprung humankind, creatures born only to die. That the visible world would one day be destroyed was no curse, only fate. And if the balance between the visible and the invisible worlds were destroyed, the universe itself would collapse. The goddess Muin could do nothing to stop this fate, and she was being swallowed into the chaos of the invisible world. But just before her last moment, Etro came to her side. Muin told Etro that she must protect the balance of the world before slipping into the chaos forever. But Etro didn't know the meaning behind Muin's words. She was lonely, but felt affection toward humans who live only to die. As they died, Etro smiled and gave them a piece of chaos. The humans named the chaos Hearts, holding it inside them. Their hearts would become their power, but the humans did not yet know this. Humans would come to call Pulse the all-powerful ruler. Lindsay they named their protector, and Etro they named Death. And because humans held chaos so close, the world once again was in balance. A little history on Lindsay. You can actually see a statue of Lindsay in the narthex when you're going to defeat the final boss. Lindsay is basically the god of Cocoon, give or take. And a lot of the information contained in Final Fantasy XIII is from the point of view of Pulse. Generally, Lindsay is described as a viper, so we normally do not get a very balanced view of him. According to the Analects, which are ancient records surrounding the myth of Grand Pulse and Cocoon, found in the data log in the start menu, Lindsay created Cocoon from pieces of the earth taken from Grand Pulse's soil. From then on, Lindsay bore other fal'Cie within the Cocoon and invited mankind to live there, calling it Paradise. Pulsians believe those who live in Cocoon are no more than Lindsay's slaves. However, after a certain time, Lindsay left Cocoon and the fal'Cie, betraying them altogether, leaving them orphaned. In Final Fantasy XIII Episode 0 Promise, Part 7 Tomorrow, Lindsay is said to have destroyed everything on Grand Pulse. It is said that Lindsay tore down the mountains, razed the fertile land, ate the fruits of the earth, pulled up the river and cast it down, washing away the people and creatures of the land. The two children that survived the attack by Lindsay could possibly be Vanille and Fang. In Orphan's first form, where it appears that Orphan is a large blade, the female form represents Lindsay as Bartandalus envisioned him, but differs from Lindsay's actual appearance and is slightly more sinister. This Lindsay figure is depicted with a serpentine tail, fitting, as the Pulse legends portray Lindsay as a viper. The goddess Etro was the second deity to be created after Pulse. Gunabertse immediately regretted creating her because she looked exactly like Muin. The goddess Etro is mentioned in passing in the Analect, where she sings a lament for the dead. She is but one of the deities in the Fabula Nova Crystallis mythology. According to Pulse legend, it was Etro who stopped Ragnarok from destroying Cocoon during the War of Transgression 500 years before the beginning of the game, by turning the l'Cie bestowed with the burden of the beast into crystal before they could finish carrying out their focus. Further, the Analects section of the data log suggests that the game's Eidolons are in fact Goddess Etro's messengers, whom she sends to a l'Cie to deliver hope when all was lost. The intro trailer to Final Fantasy XIII-2 has Lightning speaking something which took me a little while to understand what she was saying.
That time was lost, yet time continued onwards. Sleep in peace, Divine Etro. I will stand guard over your legacy. In this realm, beyond time, my life begins anew.
One can postulate from what Lightning is saying a few things about 13.2. My guess is that Lightning possibly is a transformation of Etro. The teaser trailer for Final Fantasy XIII-2 has Lightning in an abandoned temple of sorts. Many people believe that this might be the temple of the goddess Etro, perhaps her final resting place. My guess is that Lightning approaches this temple and is recruited by Etro to perform some sort of a task. Following the events of Final Fantasy XIII, according to a written novella called Episode I, a lot of the characters have remorse about Fang and Vanille remaining a crystal when they were released from the crystal sleep. Snow and Sarah decide to start a community on Pulse, with Sarah deciding to become a schoolteacher. Lightning runs off on her own, searching for a way to free Fang and Vanille from their crystal prison. My guess is that she runs across the Temple of Etro, is recruited by Etro to perform some sort of task, and will eventually free Fang and Vanille in Final Fantasy XIII-2. There is a mysterious person who appears to have purplish hair in the teaser for Final Fantasy XIII-2. There are several possibilities who this might be. Originally, I thought that perhaps he was yet another Pulsian who survived, possibly because he was in a crystal sleep like Fang and Vanille, and was awakened once Cocoon crashed to Pulse. Now I'm kind of wondering if he might not be an incarnation of the god Lindsay. If that's the case, then Lightning and this purple-haired stranger might be pitted against each other in a fight for the release of Fang and Vanille. There are a couple other things I wanted to mention. Lightning gets a new costume upgrade, which I'm pretty excited about. If you remember her first costume in Final Fantasy XIII, how can you forget it? You only see it for 90% of the game. She's kind of covered up a little extra than what she should be. And I suppose there's good reason for it. If you take a look at what she would look like without her sweater vest, her jacket's just a little too low cut for a professional soldier, and probably wouldn't work out so well for the game, as opposed to Fang and Vanille already having extremely low cut costumes. Lightning is almost completely covered up, aside from, of course, her legs. In Final Fantasy XIII-2, she gets a new costume, which appears to be some sort of Pulsian armor, especially considering all the feathers that are involved here. This is something that you probably wouldn't find in Cocoon. She still has her gunblade. However, the gunblade appears to be upgraded as well. Some have likened it to Squall Leonhardt's gunblade from Final Fantasy VIII. However, looking very closely at the image, it appears that it is the same gunblade, just with a few enhancements, which makes sense because of the upgrade at the save stations. Final Fantasy XIII-2 is slated to come out winter 2012 in America, and in 2011 for Japan. Also in 2012 for Europe. I don't know when it comes out for Australia, sorry Griever. But it appears that Final Fantasy XIII-2 will exceed Final Fantasy XIII in every aspect, including the battle system. Several people are upset, actually, about Final Fantasy XIII-2 being worked on. There are several reasons that they might be upset. One is that Final Fantasy XV should be coming out soon. If you're wondering where 14 is, that is an MMORPG which is already out, similar to Final Fantasy XI. They should be working on Final Fantasy 15 for hopefully the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, but instead they're working on Final Fantasy XIII too. I, however, am perfectly fine with that. There are several storylines in Final Fantasy XIII that have not exactly come to a close. Of course, considering Fang and Vanille still locked in their crystal prison, and again, Cocoon has always feared Pulse, how are they going to react to living on Pulse and being saved by Pulse L'Cie? Yoshinori Kitase once said in an interview about the possibility of a sequel to Final Fantasy XIII, he said if we could do a XIII-2, we could direct all of our attention to the story and refine what we have already built. Tetsuya Nomura, character designer for the game, released a drawing of Lightning later on December 15th, 2010, along with the words, "She must not be forgotten." On January 18th, 2011, a low-resolution trailer for Final Fantasy XIII-2 was leaked, and on January 20th, the high-resolution English trailer was officially released to just about anywhere. If you remember, at the end of Final Fantasy XIII, I said that I would be more than happy for a sequel. If you are wondering if I will Let's Play Final Fantasy XIII-2, I am not 100% sure right now. I would love to. That is something that I would absolutely love to do. However, Final Fantasy XIII is rare in that it's a game that you can easily Let's Play without being very boring, being, running around in circles for hours on end. It's definitely a unique game in that respect. Final Fantasy XIII-2, hopefully building on the same battle system and same storyline, may be along the same lines and easy to do, a Let's Play. However, if it goes back to even Final Fantasy XII's version, of having a large world with many opportunities and many possibilities, it will be very difficult to do a Let's Play of, especially as a first run-through. I believe what I'm going to have to do is get more information on Final Fantasy XIII-2, which hopefully will be released quickly, but I doubt it. And when it comes out, I may have to do a playthrough first in order to understand what's going on a little better. That said, if it's the kind of game that lends itself easily to do a Let's Play, I will definitely be doing it at some point in the future. Hopefully I can do it early enough so that people will still be excited about it, but if it's the kind of game that does not lend itself, or if it includes copious amounts of dancing and costume changes, I probably won't be doing it. Anyways, this is JB, and I am freaking excited for Final Fantasy XIII-2. See you all next time.